The case of Battle versus Sidwell kicks off with Judge Lake introducing it and Ms. Battle stepping up, full of hope and nerves. She's desperate to prove Mr. Sidwell is the father of her 2-year-old son Timothy because their future as a family hangs in the balance. The stakes are high and the courtroom is buzzing. Let's see what comes next.
This is a case of Battle versus Sidwell.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Battle, you are desperate for today's result because the defendant's doubts surrounding the paternity of your son Timothy put your marriage plans on hold. You hope to prove that Mr. Sidwell is 2-year-old Timothy's father so you can move forward as a family.
This is where the plot thickens. Mr. Sidwell throws a curveball into the mix with his doubts about being Timothy's father due to a recent medical diagnosis. He thinks this condition has left him incapable of fathering children, and he's here to see if science can back his claim. You won't believe what's coming up next.
You believe that a recent medical condition has caused you to be incapable of fathering children, and therefore you cannot be Timothy's dad. So you're desperate to prove that he's the father.
Yes.
You're not ready for this twist. Ms. Battle, clearly emotional and anxious, lays it all out for the court. She's here to clear the clouds of doubt hovering over her relationship with Mr. Sidwell so they can finally move forward. But hold on, there's more drama unfolding right around the corner.
But I'm here to get clarification for Stephen so we can move forward in our relationship and get married. He is Timothy's father. We can move forward after that.
Because right now, this is holding you back.
Yes, ma'am. It's holding us back from our relationship, building it up. We like it to stand still just because of him not knowing that Timothy's his biological child. So I want to get that cleared up for him so we can move forward if that's the case.
This testimony is a real game changer. Mr. Sidwell details his skepticism about being able to have children due to his troubling medical condition. He fears that if Timothy is not his biological son, their plans for marriage could crumble like a house of cards. Watch out, because the next part is even more jaw-dropping.
Mr. Sidwell, why are you here today?
I'm here today because I don't think I can have kids anymore due to my medical condition. And I feel as though if he's not my kid, then there's no marriage. So I want to get the results to find out, is Timothy really my kid? And that's why I'm here.
Here's a quirky little backstory you didn't see coming. Ms. Battle and Mr. Sidwell's first encounter was nothing short of a romantic comedy scene. They met over a basket full of meats at a grocery store. Their banter about missing vegetables leads to a missed connection, but fate wasn't done with them yet. Get ready, because their story takes a sweet turn in just a moment.
Man walked up to me and asked me why I got all this meat and there no vegetables. I said,
So you met at the grocery store, he saw the meat in your basket and said, you ain't got no vegetables.
You ain't got no vegetables in the basket, man.
All meat, y'all. Beef, everywhere.
Did you go get some vegetables?
No, we had some at home.
So you meet and you tell them, come on around to the barbecue.
Yeah, come on around and bring your big old grill you said you got out there.
And here's the kicker. After their supermarket mishap, Mr. Sidwell didn't just get her number. He went out and bought her a phone, making sure his number was the first one saved. This grand gesture starts their whirlwind romance. But stick around, the best part is yet to come.
I said I had to have her. And I went and talked to her. I said I would, and I made her laugh. And that was, hey.
This time you didn't leave without the phone number.
Oh, ma'am, I bought her a phone. I went and bought her one.
Yeah, let me get, he showed
I went and purchased her a phone, y'all.
You didn't get the phone number, you bought the phone.
I went and purchased the phone. I said, put my number in that phone.
Really? You bought her a phone and said, put your number in it.
Yeah.
And the relationship started from there?
We've been talking ever since.
Things are really heating up now. As Ms. Battle was planning her move from Georgia to Florida, their casual fling started to catch fire. They weren't making any big promises yet, but their connection was undeniable. Just when you think it's all about casual fun, things get serious. Keep watching.
How does it turn into a sexual relationship?
At that time, I was just in a place where I just wanted to enjoy myself. I was getting ready to transition from Georgia to Florida. You know, I was getting ready to move. And I just seen that he was funny to me, so I just, hey, let's, kick it.
So it started off as just a casual relationship.
Yes, yes.
And you all hadn't made any promises to one another.
No, Your Honor.
But you began to have sex.
Yes, ma'am.
Was this sex always protected or not?
Not always.
Oh, the plot thickens even more here. Their love story takes a bumpy ride as Mr. Sidwell's paternity doubts creep in due to their rocky relationship and Ms. Battle's brief move to Miami. This twist in the tale adds a layer of tension you won't want to miss. And trust me, what's next is a real cliffhanger.
Mr. Sidwell wasn't seeing anybody
I
else?
can't say that.
Okay. So, Mr. Sidwell, you had bought some more phones. Was it a 2-pack or a 3-pack?
No, ma'am, I didn't buy any phone because this time we had broken up. We had been in and out of relationship. Our relationship was rocky. She moved to Miami.
I didn't move to Miami. I went to visit.
Excuse me, I'm talking.
Fasten your seatbelts for this emotional roller coaster. The birth of Timothy is surrounded by joy, doubt, and sudden departures. Mr. Sidwell's fleeting happiness at the hospital gives way to more uncertainty about his role as a father due to physical dissimilarities with the baby. But don't go anywhere. The revelation is up next, and it's a doozy.
Because I was going to be supportive of her.
Did Did you sign the birth certificate?
Even though I had doubt. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. But I
Okay.
still had doubt, Your Honor, because he didn't look like me. You'll see he have a jug head, and I have a round shape.
Actually, they
Look at
both
that
got
head.
thumb heads.
I have, no, look at my head.
What is a jug head?
Jug head, look at his forehead. It's like a jug, Your Honor.
Grab your popcorn, because this confession is a major plot twist. Mr. Sidwell talks about how his type 2 diabetes might be impacting his fertility, throwing a wrench into the already complicated situation. This bombshell has everyone on the edge of their seats. The DNA results are just around the corner, and you won't believe what they reveal.
There is no guarantee.
You mean to tell me, I want this to be crystal clear, Your Honor. You mean to tell me that I can't get my name off the birth
That's your
certificate?
baby.
I mean to tell you, once you sign a birth certificate and you sign an acknowledgement of paternity, and this is a word for you and all the other men out here that want to be supportive, you may be setting yourself up to be obligated to be supportive financially for the next 18 years.
Get ready for the grand finale. The courtroom is electric as the DNA results are finally revealed.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Sidwell, you are the father.
So,
The case Tisby v. Quarterman is off to a fiery start, with Ms. Tisby accusing Mr. Quarterman of dodging a DNA test for their daughter Jourdain. She's convinced he's the father and expects him to step up once the DNA results confirm her beliefs. Brace yourself, because this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Ms. Tisby, you were in love with the defendant and claim he has been ducking your for a DNA test for your daughter Jordan. You and your mother say he better step up and be a daddy when today's results prove what you've always known, that he is Jordan's father. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mr. Quarterman hits back hard, labeling Ms. Tisby as delusional and claims she's after his wallet. He's hoping the DNA results will prove he's not the father, so he can cut ties once and for all. Buckle up, the drama escalates from here.
You say the plaintiff is delusional and is only trying to use you for money, and when the results reveal you are not her child's biological father, you want her out of your life for good.
Correct.
Mr. Quarterman, you say she's using you for your money?
Anytime they come around, it's about money. Yes, ma'am.
The judge dives into the murky waters of their relationship. Ms. Tisby paints a picture of a romantic partnership, complete with I love yous, while Mr. Quarterman frames it as a casual fling. Just wait until you hear what comes next.
Take me back. I want to understand the nature of this relationship.
I don't know how the other party may have felt, but it was just simply kicking it with me.
So it was just casual relationship?
Yes, ma'am. Casual relationship.
I felt like we was in a relationship.
What gave you the indication that you thought you were in a relationship?
Cause basically he was coming around the whole time. He even told me he loved me, so.
That sounds like a relationship. You
honestly,
love her, you
No,
come
I have
around
love
all
for her. I have love for her, but not in love with her. No, not at all.
Talk about a plot twist. In a heated moment, Ms. Tisby admits she mentioned another potential father out of spite because Mr. Quarterman cheated on her. This bombshell throws everything into a tailspin and complicates the narrative. Hang on, because the revelations just keep coming.
You're saying there wasn't another guy. You said that because he had hurt you. So
I was
that
in love with him though.
Your Honor, she has a medical condition. She was in the hospital. During the time or whatever the case was, after she told me about the pregnancy, the guy supposedly jumped on her in the hospital or whatever. And then from that point, that's when she came after me. Like, it's supposed to be him and her the whole time.
Yeah, I was with the man, but
You just told her that you what?
after we broke up.
Get ready for the waterworks. Ms. Tisby reveals the heart-wrenching news that Jourdain was a twin and her sister passed away soon after birth. She tells how Mr. Quarterman dismissed this tragic news, showing his detachment. The emotional stakes are high, and there's more to come.
when Jordan was born, Mr. Quarterman was there or not there?
No, when I was pregnant, I told him everything. He came when I was pregnant, holding my stomach and everything, doing all that. But now she's not yours.
What's this now? Mr. Quarterman brings out a Facebook post where Ms. Tisby questioned the paternity to her friends, which contradicts her firm stance in court. This twist adds a new layer of drama. You'll definitely want to stick around for the aftermath.
This is what? What are you submitting to the court, sir?
This is just, from, I guess, a Facebook post that she had, and she was asking Facebook, do I look like the child, or, whatever the
Oh,
case.
it's a split screen of baby Jordan.
Yes, ma'am.
And you. And
That's
she writes,
oh.
do she look like him, yeah or nah?
For us to be in a relationship and everything like that, that is a booking photo for when I got arrested.
This segment is crucial for the big picture. Ms. Tisby's mom steps up, testifying about the family dynamics and Mr. Quarterman's previous acknowledgments of Jourdain's resemblance to his family. This is backed by side-by-side baby photos of Mr. Quarterman and Jourdain. Fasten your seatbelts. The DNA results are next, and they're a doozy.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Quarterman, you are not the father.
What?
Huh.
Shantina. Who is the father?
Don't
Who
start
is
dancing.
the father?
Don't start clowning in
Yes,
here.
ma'am, I ain't.
I asked you at least 3 times. Was there anyone else?
I hope it ain't that who I think. Oh, Lord Jesus.
Can you believe this opener? Ms. Autry drops a bombshell right out of the gate, accusing Ms. Martin of falsely pinning a baby on her son. Armed with what she claims is solid proof that little Skyla isn't her granddaughter, the courtroom bristles with tension. Hold your popcorn tight. This roller coaster is about to go off the rails.
Ms. Autry, you say the defendant is taking advantage of your son by putting a baby on him, and you have physical proof that her 2-year-old daughter, Skyla, is not your grandchild. Ms. Martin, you claim that the plaintiff is a monster-in-law and is denying your daughter only because she doesn't like you. You need help and hope to get some once the results are revealed.
Wow, talk about throwing shade. Ms. Autry alleges that Ms. Martin used financial bait to trap her son into marriage. Describing the gifts of money, clothes, and even a car, she paints Ms. Martin as a master manipulator. As insults fly, remember, it's about to get even juicier.
Well, she entrapped my son by marrying him, giving him things like money, clothes, car, you name it, she give it to him. And she just want a man to call her uncle. She ain't no but old tramp.
Wait a minute now. Let's use respectful language. I want to understand this. You say she entrapped him, but she's giving him money. She's doing this for what? To what end? What does she want
She
from
want a
him?
man of her own.
She wanted a man of her own.
Yes, ma'am.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any more intense, the tangled web of gift-giving and accusations unfolds further. Both parties spar over the true nature of their relationship, with the courtroom turning into a verbal battleground. Keep your eyes peeled, because what comes next is sure to be a doozy.
She says you entrapped her son.
No.
Were you buying him cars and all these things, giving him money and all of this?
He did the same for me in return.
Okay,
He
so
didn't have no job, how he do the same for in return? He ain't have
did
no
the
job.
same.
He don't even work.
He did the same thing. Miss. He did, Miss.
No, he
Autry, and
didn't.
You know this.
Well,
you
how
know
he get
it.
the money? Because he ain't had no
You
job.
know it.
You've got to hear this. Ms. Autry recounts her near superhero attempt to halt Ms. Martin's wedding, sprinting down the street like it's a 100-meter dash. Describing her frenetic scramble to stop the vows, the tale borders on the absurd with a pace that's hard to keep up with. Brace yourself. More chaos is on the way.
I got
Okay.
a phone call job getting married down to my house, so I was on my way walking down there to start the marriage. And my friend is going out to go start the wedding.
tried to
When
stop
I
the
got
wedding,
dropped
Your
off
Honor.
down,
She tried to stop the
moved
wedding.
your way to Cliff so you can get married to him.
Miss Autry, I missed all of that.
She tried to
Okay,
stop-
wait a minute. And look, you can't talk that fast, then turn to the side. I can't even read your lips. I felt like I was at an auction. I was like, what?
And it doesn't stop there. The scene shifts to a hospital where Ms. Autry confronts Ms. Martin during what she thinks is labor. Accusations fly thick and fast, culminating in Ms. Autry being thrown out by security for causing a ruckus. This saga has more twists than a daytime soap opera. What's next? A twin brother?
She told me that she was pregnant, and I told her she was lying because my son had been gone for a while. And he came back, and she said that she didn't have intimate with him the first week he was at home. And I went to the hospital where she was. I was put at the hospital because I told her that's not my grandbaby. Stop trying to have the baby early.
She didn't come
and I want a
to see
DNA.
about it. I wasn't in labor. I was actually in pain. It was false labor. She
Okay,
came
it was
up
false
there.
labor. So you came
Yes,
up
Your
there
Honor.
and you told her this is not my grandchild.
You won't believe your ears. Ms. Autry lays out her case against the baby's paternity with arguments about toes and eyebrows. It's like a forensic analysis, but with less science and more hunches. As the eyebrow debate thickens, you'll want to stick around for the next eyebrow-raising moment.
She don't have the toes like my son.
Yes,
His
she
toes
does.
cross.
Yes, she
His big
does.
toe is here, and his toe next
They
to his big
overlap.
toe. It crawls over like that. And I have proof, Your Honor, that is not his baby because her toes don't do that.
Yes,
The
sir.
thick eyebrows that me and my son and my daughter have.
She's
So
two.
I know
they
that's
haven't
not my
grew
son's
yet.
baby.
You act like she's supposed to come out with full-blown eyebrows.
She do.
No, she does.
He did.
This segment is a tearjerker, or maybe not. Ms. Martin vents about the family's rejection of her and her baby, pleading for acceptance and detailing the emotional toll it's taken. The family drama intensifies, and you might just need a tissue or popcorn, as the next scene promises even more melodrama.
Has your husband accepted the baby, or does he have doubts?
No, he doesn't have any doubts. It's her. She hasn't even tried to bond with the baby, so of course you're gonna think she's not yours.
Why would
You
I
haven't
bond
tried
with
to
the baby
bond
unless
with
I
her,
know
to know
son?
her.
Had I had
But
them, I did
Skyla's
my
2
own
years.
DNA test to make
she's
sure.
2 years old. Have you ever asked her, will you watch Skyla? Will you take care of Skyla?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if they go to the
No, they
club, they
don't.
got to pay to get in the club. They got to pay for their drink.
But
pay
that's
me to
not
babysit.
why.
Okay.
Here comes a curveball. A new potential dad, Mr. Gott, steps into the fray, claiming a past with Ms. Martin that might just shake everything up. The plot thickens, turning this courtroom into a potboiler that could rival any mystery novel. Fasten your seatbelt. This revelation is about to shake things up.
Your husband, that this was not his child?
Yes, Your Honor. I was trying to hurt him. He left me to go be
sleep with another woman. I was trying to hurt him like he hurted me.
Let's be clear. Did you sleep with another man?
Yes, Your Honor. Coming back into my life, yes. August 2013, and he came back into my life in 2014, June.
And she was already pregnant.
Wait for it. The long-awaited DNA results are finally unveiled.
The biological father is Mr. Martin.
I'll take that for 200, Your Honor. I told you.
The courtroom is buzzing with anticipation as Judge Lake dives into the case. Ms. Petty is on a mission to determine the father of her daughter, Alea, amidst the chaos of multiple potential dads casting doubts because of her colorful relationship history. This segment sets up the soap opera-worthy courtroom drama that's about to unfold, shining a light on the intricate web of relationships and the swirling doubts of paternity that stem from Ms. Petty's past. Buckle up, Mr. Ballet is about to drop a bombshell.
And Mr. Ball, you're one of the two men we tested and state you do not believe you fathered the child of Miss Petty's promiscuous past. Now, waiting outside of the courtroom is the second potential father, Mr. Daniel, who says he dreamed he's Alea's father.
You could cut the tension with a knife as Mr. Ballet shares his skepticism about being Alea's father, pointing fingers at Ms. Petty's lively romantic endeavors during Alea's conception. His explanation of their complicated entanglements, motivated by his desire to stay connected with another child he has with Ms. Petty, layers on the drama. The stakes are high and emotions are flying. Just wait, the next piece of evidence is a doozy.
Why do you have doubt?
It's because she was sleeping around with me and Peter at the same time. The only reason I started messing around with her was to get my son.
You have an older child together, so you were messing around with her to get him.
Is if you won't, it's the D, so you gotta sleep with her. You gotta do it.
First of all, wait a minute.
Kid.
The last name on Alea's birth certificate is Mr. Daniels, not Mr. Ballet's. This twist raises big questions about Ms. Petty's motives at the time of Alea's arrival, suggesting deeper strategies about who she envisioned as the father figure. The courtroom's about to get a heavy dose of reality with Ms. Petty's heartfelt confession next.
The reason why I don't believe that she's mine is because whose last name is on the birth certificate? Mr. Daniels, if you want to see that.
I would like
proof.
to see it. Jerome, please hand me
Mr.
that evidence.
Daniels' name, if it was my baby, she would have had her with my last name like we did with our son.
Mr. Ball first that I was pregnant before I even told Mr. Daniel. He told me because he was in a relationship, he didn't want to ruin his happy home.
The mood shifts as Ms. Petty opens up about her childhood devoid of a father and her aspirations for a different path for Alea. Her poignant reflection on her personal challenges and the shadow of past family dynamics brings an emotional depth to the proceedings, highlighting what's really at stake beyond the legal battle over paternity. Fasten your seatbelts. Ms. Petty's next revelation will rock the boat.
They were staying together for 2 years.
About how he didn't want to take care
and
of
they were
her.
sleeping with each other unprotected.
I want to look at this young lady. My neck's just going back and forth and back and forth, and you right here in the middle. And I need to know from you how you got here. How did you arrive in this place where you have a child you don't know who father is?
For the second time.
Jaw drops all around as Ms. Petty confesses to juggling the affections of both potential fathers on the very same day around the time Alea was conceived. This bombshell adds a spicy twist to the paternity puzzle, illustrating the messy, emotionally charged nature of their relationships. The room is buzzing, and the drama is just ramping up as we brace for the DNA results reveal.
Got a little time to
and every time, didn't I get my son? Didn't I get my son?
So we can have sex.
The bottom line is you're not going to be avoiding this DNA test any further.
Here we go. The thing about, I wasn't even avoiding. How come Mr. Daniel couldn't take the DNA test right then and there?
This is classic. You said you weren't avoiding the DNA test. Did you hear this, Jerome? But why can't Mr. Daniel take it right then and there?
As we edge closer to the DNA results, the air is thick with anticipation. This moment is the crescendo of today's drama, with everyone on the edge of their seats waiting to see how this tangled tale of paternity will unravel. The results are about to flip the script, so get ready for a moment that will change everything.
If she's not mine, I'm happy for Mr. Daniel. But if she is mine, I just want to say I want custody of both of my children. Because
he a better parent than both of us. Well, my son was in the hospital. ER. I said, can you please
my son is 3 years old and he's not potty trained.
What's wrong with
what your hope is for this baby
I will
that
love for her
you
to be
are.
mine. I will love.
Silence envelopes the courtroom as the DNA test results declare.
Is the biological father. Mr. Ball, you are her father. That's a first, Jerome. Absolute silence.
Think again. Ms. Fisher opens the case with a bombshell, asserting that Mr. Stewart is the biological father of her daughter, Ka'alia, because understanding the father's medical history is critical due to her serious medical condition. Mr. Stewart counters fiercely, denying paternity and suggesting Ms. Fisher had multiple partners during the conception window. He accuses her of trying to pin the baby on him because of his reputation as a good father. And guess what? The courtroom drama is just heating up.
Ms. Fisher, you're here to prove that Mr. Stewart is your daughter Ka'alia's biological father.
You
You state that your daughter has a serious medical condition and it is imperative that you know the father's medical history. Mr. Stewart, you claim that Ms. Fisher was with multiple partners during the window of conception, and you have the proof.
Yes.
You state that Ms. Fisher is trying to pin her baby on you because she knows you are a good father.
Just when you think it's all been said, the plot thickens. Ms. Fisher stands firm, insisting Mr. Stewart is the father, as they were intimately involved around the time Kalia was conceived. Mr. Stewart dismisses the relationship as purely physical and questions the timing of the pregnancy announcement based on their brief encounter. The judge dives into the details, probing about protection, which Mr. Stewart first confirms, then stumbles, sparking a fiery exchange. Brace yourself, the emotional fireworks are about to explode.
Why do you believe he is the biological father?
Because at the time my baby was conceived, that's who I was having sexual relations.
Take me back. What's the nature of this relationship?
It was just a sexual relationship, Your Honor.
Did you use protection?
The first few times, yes. Yes, Your Honor. A week after we started messing around, you know, she come out, she showed me pregnancy test I'm like, it's not my baby.
If you thought that was intense, hold on because it gets wilder. Ms. Fisher describes knowing she was pregnant from early symptoms and immediately telling Mr. Stewart, who flatly denied being the father right off the bat. This confession ramps up the tension in the courtroom, showcasing the emotional and complex nature of their dispute. The atmosphere gets even more charged as we dive deeper into their tumultuous relationship.
And you immediately said, Mr. Stewart, this is your
I showed it to him and his first reaction. It ain't mine.
That's what he said?
Yes, that's exactly what he said.
Exactly.
That is not the reaction you look for when you tell a man you're pregnant.
I just really rolled with it, Your Honor, because I mean, at the end of the day, I got 2 other kids. I don't have time to be begging no man to step up and be a man.
After this is over, did the relationship continue?
Yes, he was just at my house like a week and a half ago.
I mean, I got bored.
You won't believe this twist. Delving deeper, the court discovers that another man might be the father and has even signed the birth certificate. This revelation adds complexity to the case, with Mr. Stewart expressing strong doubts and distancing himself from any responsibility. This moment throws the courtroom into a whirlwind of chaos, impacting the child's identity and welfare directly. Keep watching. The plot is about to thicken even more.
Did you call him and tell him the baby's here?
No, ma'am. He play a lot of games, and I'm really fed up with his games.
You like this game he playing? Mr. Stewart, in your court papers, you stated that you knew for certain that Miss Fisher was sleeping with other men.
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you know and how do you know
He
it?
named another potential father as the biological father, and then on top of that, another man signed the birth certificate.
Strap in. This roller coaster is hitting another loop. The discussion shifts to the serious medical condition of the child, emphasizing the urgent need to identify the father for medical reasons. Enter Mr. Kern, another contender for paternity, further complicating the tangled web of relationships, as he too was involved with Ms. Fisher during the critical conception period. The next revelations are bound to be jaw-dropping.
Right?
I know that I got 3 kids.
But you admittedly slept with Mr. Kern during the window of conception.
Yeah.
Well, that lends credibility to your testimony, Mr. Stewart.
That's why I don't believe I'm
I'd like to hear from Mr. Kern. Jerome, would you please escort Mr. Kern into the courtroom? Hello, sir. Mr. Kern, thank you so much for joining us today. He's indicated to the court that you could potentially be Kalia's biological father. Were you aware of this?
Yes, ma'am.
Just when you thought we'd seen it all, there's more. We learn this isn't Ms. Fisher's first rodeo with paternity disputes, which casts doubt on her credibility and highlights a pattern of such issues. The judge's frustration bubbles over as she laments the recurring irresponsibility and potential serious future implications. What's coming next? DNA results that could flip everything upside down.
No.
Now you gotta say.
Don't y'all shake your head, because you in it too. You still sleeping with her. You can make another paternity issue right now. You was just with her a week ago, and you was with her for this baby and had the paternity issue on the last child. None of you all should be shaking your head. So, Mr. Kern, you taking care of this baby. You think this baby's yours.
Yes, ma'am.
Fasten your seatbelt for some seismic revelations. The climax of the court session arrives with the DNA results, which reveal
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Kern, you are not the father. The next result reads as follows. In the case of Fisher versus Stewart, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Stewart, you are not father.
Oh.
Don't clown. Don't you dare clown in here.
The case of Willingham versus Griffin Allen starts with the judge setting the stage. Ms. Willingham claims that the late Nathaniel Allen is the father of her son Nicorian, but the Allen family isn't having it, leading to a heated battle over death benefits and paternity rights. And we're just getting started.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Willingham versus Griffin Allen.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Willingham, you are here to prove that Nathaniel Allen, who tragically passed away, fathered your son, Nicorian, because his mother and aunt say he is not father, preventing you from collecting death benefits.
Check out this twist. Ms. Griffin and her sister accuse Ms. Willingham of trying to grab Social Security death benefits by lying about her son's dad. The burning question is whether Nakorian is really Nathaniel's son, and just when you think it couldn't get messier.
Ms. Griffin, you and your sister say Ms. Willingham is trying to pin this child on your deceased son so she can collect Social Security death benefits and work the system. Ms. Willingham, what has this past year and a half been like since Nathaniel's family denies your son?
The drama ramps up and the tissues come out. Ms. Willingham opens up about the tough times she's faced because Nathaniel's family rejected her son. She fights back against claims of cheating the system and stands strong on proving Nathaniel's fatherhood. Stay tuned. The emotional roller coaster is just getting started.
I don't ask for help, so as far as depending on the system, I don't know where they're getting that from. I barely call them asking for anything. So I just basically want to get the results out that, Nathaniel is the father of Nakorian, so they can know.
I can see this is really upsetting you. You don't know where to begin. Ms. Griffin?
Yes.
You say Ms. Willingham is here about the money.
Yes.
Oh, it gets more intense. Ms. Griffin recounts how Ms. Willingham came to her right after Nathaniel died, asking for a letter to help with death benefit claims. This makes everyone's eyebrows shoot up. You'll want to stick around for the next twist.
My son in past, he come to me and says, you have to go and help me. Y'all need to help me. And I said, what I need to do? So she took me to the Social Security office and they told her she had to get letters. So I wrote a letter and a couple of others. And no, I didn't believe this is my grandson.
You say you just don't believe
No.
this is his biological child. You don't believe this is your grandson.
No.
Boom. The judge scrutinizes a letter Ms. Griffin wrote, trying to convince the Social Security office about Nakorian's paternity. This letter is now under the courtroom spotlight, stirring up more debate and distrust. The surprises aren't stopping.
Did you write the letter?
Yes, I did.
Did you bring that letter to court today?
No, I did not.
I have the letter.
You do have the letter?
Yes.
I'd like to see that. So, Ms. Willingham, you asked Ms. Griffin to please write a letter on your behalf because you wanted to send it to the Social Security office so that you could potentially collect death benefits for your child, whom you say is Nathaniel Allen's biological child.
Each clue reveals more of this tangled tale. Ms. Willingham explains how Ms. Griffin's letter might have backfired, making her plea with the Social Security office harder because the family didn't support Nakorian's paternity claim. The tension's rising. Don't blink now.
To whom it may concern, I am Latricia Griffin, the mother of Nathaniel Allen, who is deceased. This is what he told me. There's two blanks. These are his kids, but Nakorian Allen, he had doubt, so he wanted to get a blood test on him.
It's getting wild in the courtroom. Accusations are flying everywhere as loyalty and personal ties get questioned. Ms. Griffin throws shade, suggesting Ms. Willingham was unfaithful and doubting Nathaniel's fatherhood, which Ms. Willingham fiercely denies. The drama's at full blast. More fireworks are on the way.
My nephew was not together. He was in another relationship with someone else.
Girl, boo.
Yes.
Her
please.
son,
Because they were staying with me.
And she was staying with somebody.
You. No.
Friend was staying with me when they were together.
No.
Who was staying with you?
My son and his other friend.
Was staying with you?
Yes.
So you knew he had moved on and was in another relationship?
Yes.
And you believe she had moved on and was in
Yes.
another relationship?
The gloves are off and emotions are running wild. Both sides let out their frustrations and pains, revealing the deeply personal and agonizing parts of their feud. Accusations of neglect and emotional damage fill the room, painting a vivid picture of the stormy relationships. It's about to explode.
That's not the case, and I
on
really
the
don't
day
care
that
if y'all
she
do.
had the baby, he didn't even go to the hospital because he said it was none of his.
He's a liar.
Was he at the hospital, Ms. Willingham?
No.
No.
Matter of fact, I went through the whole pregnancy by myself. It was me and my baby. When I was in labor, she called me, was like, have you talked to my son? And I told her, no, I don't want to. I'm fine without him.
I didn't have no reason to call you because my son said he didn't have nothing to do
Whatever.
with you.
If that's the case, my son still be going over to your house. What do you mean? Help me do what?
You need a child care to go to work.
Okay, so I work.
Just when you thought it was over, there's a twist. A phone call brings LaShawna London into the mix, adding her opinion that despite Nathaniel's initial denial, she thinks Nakorian might actually be his kid. This throws a wrench in the works, making the plot even spicier. Up next, the moment we've all been waiting for.
What is your cousin's name? Oh, you wrote it down. LaShawna London.
Hello?
Hello? Is LaShawna London in, please?
This is me.
Hello, Ms. London. This is Judge Lake calling from Paternity Court. We are here discussing paternity of Nakorian Allen. Your family is in court today saying that Mr. Allen, Nathaniel, had words with you concerning this child. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Here comes the big reveal. In a dramatic turn, the results of the grandparentage DNA test are disclosed.
It has been determined by this court, Latricia Griffin and Nakorian Allen are related.
Here comes the bombshell. Ms. Patterson claims that Mr. Rothwell is the father of her 1-year-old daughter, Jade. She lays out her struggles with raising the child alone and the financial burdens that have fallen on her parents due to Mr. Rothwell's alleged abandonment. Buckle up, because Mr. Rothwell's comeback is a doozy.
You have petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove to your ex-boyfriend, Mr. Rothwell, that he is the father of your 1-year-old daughter, Jade. You claim he abandoned you, stuck you with bills, and now your parents are forced to help you raise your daughter.
Yes, Your Honor.
But after today's DNA result, he will pay.
Ms. Patterson is suing Mr. Rothwell for a hefty sum of $6,423.45 for child-rearing expenses, suggesting a legal acknowledgement of paternity could lead to financial support. Wait till you hear the clapback from Mr. Rothwell.
You're suing him for $6,423.05 for child-rearing expenses. Mr. Rothwell, you say Ms. Patterson has her parents fooled into believing she's not a cheater, and you refuse to be the fool for taking care of a child that's not yours. All right, so Ms. Patterson, does Mr. Rothwell any reason to deny your daughter?
No, Your Honor, and today I will prove that he is father. I'm tired of doing everything by myself. I had to rely on my parents to do everything or help me when we both made this child.
Plot twist incoming. Mr. Rothwell fires back with a denial that adds a spicy layer of drama. He suggests Ms. Patterson has bamboozled her own parents into believing she's been faithful, vehemently denying paternity, and refusing responsibility for the child he believes isn't his. What unfolds next is even more jaw-dropping.
We both graduated from the same high school. We met in 2011, rekindled through a mutual friend. We started dating on and off because he's a cheater, so I stayed with
I'm a cheater. You're a cheater.
I got pregnant in 2013 in September.
So wait, relationship, you said you were dating on and off?
On and off, yeah.
Were you in a committed relationship at some point?
Yeah, I was always committed to him. He wasn't committed to me.
The plot thickens here. Ms. Patterson recalls the moment she discovered she was pregnant during a trip, and Mr. Rothwell's immediate denial of paternity, which caused a major rift. The story only spirals from here, leading into some intense family testimonies.
Mr. Rothwell, in your opinion, were you in a committed relationship with Ms. Patterson?
Yes, ma'am.
You're a liar.
You were. Did you do a lot of cheating?
Yes, he did. What proof do you have? I have never cheated on him. Never.
At what point did you find out you're pregnant?
In 2013, when we were on a trip for my birthday, I didn't have my regular monthly. So we took a pregnancy test, and I could see in his eyes that he was scared. So he made up some excuse. When we came back from this trip, we got into a big argument.
Family ties are tested to the max in this segment. Ms. Patterson's parents detail how they took Mr. Rothwell into their home, treating him like one of their own, only to feel betrayed by his refusal to accept responsibility for Jade. The tension in the courtroom is about to explode. Stick around.
We clothed him, we bathed him, fed him, treated him. My mom treated him like a son, as a son-in-law, and I don't have a ring on my finger.
All right, I want to hear from your parents. Please stand.
He's a deadbeat. Sorry.
Deadbeat? Oh, really?
He's a deadbeat. His daughter called me daddy. It's a shame.
The tension is palpable as the family's frustration boils over. Amidst chaotic arguments, a direct appeal is made to Mr. Rothwell to step up and acknowledge his responsibilities, highlighting the real-life impact of the court's paternity decision. The evidence presented next could turn the tide.
Responsibility, man. That's all you need to do. You don't owe me anything. Just do what you need to do.
Ms. Patterson and Mr. Rothwell met when they were in high school.
Yes.
You began to form a relationship. At what point do you take him in and he starts living with you?
When I got pregnant.
When you found out you were pregnant, then you take him in.
Yes.
Here's where the evidence hits the fan. Photos and testimonies about Mr. Rothwell's involvement at key moments like the doctor's appointments and birth are displayed, suggesting his initial acceptance of fatherhood. The courtroom is about to go from heated to scorching. Watch for the judge's next move.
Who does that? If you are not the father, why you sign the birth certificate? At the time. Today you're gonna learn that you're the father, man. You're gonna learn today.
These are pictures of, explain to me, this first picture is
the first picture is actually, we left a doctor's appointment, and I was actually, that day, I was on my way to the hospital to get him due, and he was there.
Now watch as the focus shifts unexpectedly. The conversation veers towards Mr. Rothwell's apparent obsession with material things like his truck, overshadowing his responsibilities as a father. The courtroom's reaction to this revelation is too good to miss. Keep watching.
He hugged his truck more than he do my daughter.
Well, I'm not going to take part
in it. He's an electrician junkie, so he likes all the new latest iPads, all
So what are you
that.
saying? You're saying that he gives
but you're supposed to be taking care of your
truck
child.
more time, care, and attention.
Than his own self. He care for his truck more than he do himself. I bet you he washes his truck more than he do himself.
Get ready for the big reveal. The DNA results finally come in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Rothwell, you are the father.
I told you.
Stupid,
I told you. You owe my child an apology. You owe my child an apology.
The courtroom drama kicks off with a bang. Mr. Levitt accuses Ms. Jackson of cheating and doubts he's the dad of her 15-month-old son, Corey Jr. Ms. Jackson fires back, saying Mr. Levitt is definitely the father and blames his suspicions on his own insecurities. Buckle up, the paternity battle is just getting started.
You say her affairs have caused you to doubt that you fathered her 15-month-old son, Corey Jr. Ms. Jackson, you say Mr. Levitt is definitely your son's father and is doubting paternity because of his needless insecurities. Mr. Levitt, what is your relationship like with Corey Jr.? He's 15 months old.
That's my baby. I love him.
That's your baby. He is adorable.
Yeah.
That's his baby, but he denied him.
I have doubts.
Things heat up fast as Mr. Levitt and Ms. Jackson throw accusations like confetti. Mr. Levitt says Ms. Jackson cheated because he cheated first, making a messy loop of mistrust. The judge scratches his head, asking if Mr. Levitt really thinks she's just copying him. Their relationship drama gets even juicier. Stay tuned.
In defense of your own cheating.
Exactly.
No.
Do you think she's doing it to get back at you?
No, because...
Do you think she's doing it because you're doing it?
No.
So how do you know she's even doing that?
She's just a type of woman that moves on. Look, she started having kids at the age of 18. She ain't gonna stop because of me. She got 6 kids.
I had 4 kids when you met me. You gave me 2 more.
Can you believe this? Ms. Jackson admits she put tracking devices on Mr. Levitt's phone. Mr. Levitt discovered these gadgets and flipped out, showing just how deep their trust issues go. The plot thickens, and the drama isn't letting up.
The guy never came inside my house. The guy pulled up, cut my grass. After that, we sat on the back of the truck.
Nobody should be over there.
That's what he came up and pulled up on.
Then that same guy ended up sending naked pictures to my phone.
Because you asked him
No,
for
matter of fact, it was her phone. It was her phone. I was talking like I was her. But I had her phone. We switched phones that day. So I was texting, and then he sent me a picture. The same guy that supposed to be her cousin.
Wait a minute now.
That's not true. That's not true.
Is this the grass cutting guy?
Yes.
Their personal lives are a tangled mess. Both are involved with other partners, making their divorce and custody battles even trickier. The judge breaks down how their actions mess with their kids' custody and support. Just when you think it can't get more chaotic, it does.
You can't get divorced because you keep getting pregnant.
Exactly.
Not by me, man.
Her husband is here. We're gonna meet him in a moment. Now you can talk about it if you want, but you started a relationship with her too.
Right.
Exactly.
And got her pregnant.
Right. And I've been taking care of my responsibility.
The suspense is off the charts as the DNA results come in.
It has been determined by this court.
Oh my God.
Mr. Levitt, you are Ariel's father.
Can you believe what just unfolded? Ms. Tucker steps into the courtroom with a bombshell claim that Mr. Hunter might actually be her biological father, a secret kept under wraps by her mother until a decade ago. As she lays down the challenge to prove her paternity, Mr. Hunter confesses his doubts about being her dad due to the distance he's kept. But folks, buckle up because the revelations are just starting to heat up.
Miss Tucker, you believed another man was your dad until a bomb was dropped on you 10 years ago when your mother admitted that the defendant is your biological father. Prove to Mr. Hunter that he is your dad.
This next bit is absolutely bonkers. As the court listens intently, Ms. Tucker pours her heart out, explaining her years of identity struggles and her attempts at resolving them through DNA tests that Mr. Hunter skipped. Her tale of emotional chaos paints a vivid picture of a life overshadowed by uncertainty. And guess what? The emotional roller coaster doesn't stop here.
You admit you have distanced yourself from the plaintiff because you have serious doubts you are her father. Miss Tucker, you admit you initially lied to your daughter, but claim you and Mr. Hunter have always known that he is her father.
Here's where it gets spicy. Adrian, Ms. Tucker's mother, finally admits to fabricating the story about her daughter's paternity, but claims that both she and Mr. Hunter were in on the true story all along. The court is left navigating a tangled mess of lies and half-truths that have cast long shadows over Ms. Tucker's life. And just when you think you've heard it all, the plot thickens even more.
I wanted to find out who her father really is also.
You don't believe you are?
Well, I had doubts because her mother told me that I wasn't 30 years ago, so.
Mom, Miss Tucker, you hear your daughter speak?
Yes, Your Honor.
You say you and Mr. Hunter have always known that he was her biological father?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there something you haven't told your daughter?
I told her that someone else was her father at the time. In order to protect her, I felt like Mr. Hunter was not a good role model.
You won't see this twist coming. During a seemingly mundane trip to the store, Ms. Tucker bumps into a family friend who drops a name she's never heard before, throwing Mr. Hunter right into the middle of her already chaotic paternity saga. As Ms. Tucker grapples with this new potential lead, the story dives deeper into a labyrinth of family secrets. Up next, Mr. Hunter takes the stage, and you won't believe what he has to say.
I was in the 7th grade. Where we're from is very small, so I was at a store, and there's a woman who knows them both, and she told me, she said, you look just like your dad. Naturally, I'm thinking she's talking about the other gentleman. So I go, oh, you know my dad? And I said his name, and she goes, that's not your dad. That's when she said Mr. Hunter's name, and that was the first I have ever heard of him. So I went home, and I did tell my mom what's there, but my mom just said she was lying.
Hang on to your seats. Mr. Hunter's backstory is a doozy, reflecting on his past relationship with Adrian. He shares how he was led to believe he wasn't the father of her child, prompting him to steer clear for years. His return to North Carolina is fueled by swirling rumors of his paternity, which he had initially dismissed. Just when you think you've caught your breath, another curveball is about to be thrown.
You were dating exclusively? You were boyfriend and girlfriend, or just...
Yeah, for a short while. But when she told me she was pregnant, she said the baby wasn't mine. I left and I got my life together. 15, 16 years, I came back to North Carolina hearing rumors that she was mine. So what am I supposed to do when someone tells me I'm not the father?
I was in middle school, and the young woman that is like his daughter, I guess he was there to pick her up, and they called me out of class. This was the first day I ever saw him.
Get ready for a jaw dropper. The courtroom is thrown for a loop when it comes out that Mr. Hunter had a fling with Adrian's sister, adding a scandalous layer to the already complex narrative. This bombshell revelation reshapes the entire dynamic of the case, making everyone question what they know. Stay tuned, because the next revelation is a real showstopper.
How are you the only one that don't know?
Did it have something to do with another situation that we were in? She was
What
mad about?
situation? We here now. I mean, I could see the look on your face right now. I know it's got to be something else. What's the situation?
Well, I had met a young lady, and come to find out it was Adrian's sister. And I thought that about that.
So you slept with her sister?
Prepare for the unexpected. The DNA test results are finally unveiled.
It has been determined by the court. Mr. Hunter, you are not the father. I'm sorry, Adriana.
It's okay.
Ms. Nesbitt and Mr. Henderson are at the center of today's drama. Ms. Nesbitt is here to prove that Mr. Henderson is indeed the father of her 7-month-old daughter, Zion. She's fired up and ready for him to take responsibility once the results are in. Buckle up, Mr. Henderson's response is just around the corner.
Ms. Nesbitt, you are suing to prove to Mr. Henderson that he is the father of your 7-month-old daughter, Zion. You say that when the results prove you right, you expect Mr. Henderson to step up.
This next bit is a doozy. Mr. Henderson throws a curveball by expressing his doubts about being Zion's dad, blaming Ms. Nesbitt's close encounters with the neighbor during the crucial conception period. He's convinced he's not the father and has barely lifted a finger for Zion because of these doubts. Hang tight, the plot thickens from here.
Mr. Henderson, you claim your case is simple. You say Ms. Nesbitt cheated on you with her neighbor during the window of conception. He is Zion's biological father. So, Ms. Nesbitt, what has Mr. Henderson done so far for Zion?
Well, he buy her diapers, that's about it. He doesn't do anything for my child but buy her diapers. He does more for my 2-year-old son that he knows that's not his, than his own daughter.
Now, here's a plot twist for you. Out of the blue, we learn Mr. Henderson secretly went behind Ms. Nesbitt's back to sign the birth certificate, despite her explicit doubts about his paternity. It was a sneaky move, aimed at staking his claim, possibly before even he was sure about the facts. Keep your eyes peeled. The courtroom's about to heat up with reactions.
You know the baby yours.
Yes, I did, because
He did what, Ms. Nesbitt?
I went downstairs to go get my birth certificate. His name was on there. I told him not to put his name on there because I had doubts beginning, but he snuck anyways and signed his name on there.
You had asked him previously not to sign it because you had doubts yourself.
Yes, Your Honor.
Wait till you get a load of this. Delving deeper into the saga, the judge questions Mr. Henderson's motives for signing the birth certificate under such murky circumstances. He admits his actions were driven by a mix of emotion and a desperate grab for paternal rights, a real soap opera move. The upcoming testimony will throw you for a loop.
Do you remember having the conversation with Ms. Nesbitt that said, don't sign it just yet because it may not be yours?
Yes, Your Honor.
You remember that conversation, and you signed it anyway?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, he even lied to his father and told him that he got a DNA at the hospital when he didn't.
Why would you tell your dad you had a DNA test and you didn't?
Because I didn't want him all in my business.
Oh, Your Honor, that's a lie. He told me that he signed the birth certificate so he can have rights of the baby, so he can get custody of the baby.
Can you feel the tension in the air? Ms. Nesbitt unveils the roots of her suspicions, which involve Mr. Henderson's past fling with his own cousin, stirring up a storm of vulnerability and betrayal. This emotional turmoil led her straight into the arms and apartment of Mr. Brown, the neighbor, for a one-off night that started with a comforting hug and escalated quickly. Don't go anywhere. It's about to get even more entangled.
Well, let me tell you how it all began. He had sex with his cousin, and I felt very vulnerable about it.
and
Yes, I did, but that was before her. She already knew about that.
yes, let me tell you how
Proceed.
I received the inbox telling me she said that she had sex with my little black car and they had a baby. And I felt very astounded about it.
She told you before that when you was sitting in the car with your friend, when y'all left from the Riverwalk.
No, that's not true, and you got her
Yes,
pregnant.
it is. It's true, Your Honor.
Things are getting spicy now. Mr. Brown steps into the courtroom to give his side of the story. He confirms the one-night stand with Ms. Nesbitt, but insists it was just a fleeting moment of weakness. Their ongoing flirty texts, however, suggest it might not have been as straightforward as he claims. Strap in. His testimony is stirring the pot big time.
So at this time, the court would like to call Mr. Brown. Jerome, would you please escort Mr. Brown into the courtroom? I'd like to hear from him.
Come on.
Thank you for joining us today. Mr. Brown, we're here, of course, discussing the paternity as it relates to baby Zion. Tell me a little bit about your relationship with Ms. Nesbitt.
I had first met her. She had moved to my apartment, been a couple doors down. I used to always flirt with her, to blink an eye at her, you know what I'm saying? Because she was a cute girl, you know? She was
She was a nice friend, that's about it.
You won't see this coming. Mr. Brown recounts that fateful night, starting with a comforting shoulder and ending in a full-blown scandal. He thought he was being a good neighbor by offering a massage, but things went 0 to 60 before the night was over. Ms. Nesbitt later drops the bombshell that the condom broke, which really complicates the narrative. The courtroom's about to explode with reactions. Watch out!
At this point, you've been honest with both men.
Yes.
And they both know they are potential fathers.
Yes, Your Honor.
Baby Zion is born, and who steps up to the plate for her?
I stepped up to the plate for her, Your Honor.
It ain't my baby, so I ain't stepping up to no plate.
So, Mr. Brown, you said it's not your...
I had a condom on, and look at her. She looked just like him. She a beautiful baby. She looked just like him, you know what I'm saying?
Get ready for the climax. The atmosphere is electric as everyone braces for the DNA results. The stakes are high, emotions are running wild, and both men are on edge, each hoping for a different outcome that could change their lives forever. The big reveal is just moments away, and it's going to be a jaw-dropper.
You've admitted that. That's why this courtroom exists. And some mothers come in here and they will say, and Jerome can attest to this, no, I know for certain it was nobody else. You came into court and said, look, I have a dilemma. I did sleep with 2 men during the window of conception, and I need an answer, and I have those answers for you. Are you ready for the results?
Yes.
Your Honor.
All right, roll the envelope, please.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for. The results are in, and the DNA test shows...
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Brown, you are not her father.
Oh! Hey, I told
Okay,
you.
sit down, Mr. Brown.
Let it out.
Calm down. Mr. Henderson, you are her father.
Told you was her father from the beginning.
Can you believe what just popped off? Miss Tillis throws a curveball by accusing Mr. Jellick of fathering her 2-month-old son, Jadance, and then skipping out, leaving them in financial ruin. She's pinning her hopes on today's DNA test to prove that Jellick is indeed the dad. Mr. Jellick, however, is adamant he's not the father, backing his claim with what he calls solid medical evidence. Strap in, because the courtroom drama is about to heat up even more.
You claim the defendant got you pregnant and now refuses to do anything for your 2-month-old son, Jadance, leaving you in financial distress. You claim today's DNA test will prove that he is Jadance's father. Mr. Jellick, you say you are 100% certain you are not her child's biological father.
This segment hits right in the feels. Miss Tillis opens up about the hefty emotional and financial burdens she's been shouldering since Jadance arrived. She paints a picture of a total lack of support from Mr. Jellick from day one, highlighting her solo struggle to stay afloat while out of work. The judge offers a sympathetic ear, acknowledging how tough it is to juggle postpartum challenges and a tight budget. The revelations get even juicier in the next bit.
He has done nothing for my child.
Nothing?
Nothing at all.
Not a dollar?
Not a dollar.
Tell the court what that has been like.
Struggling. I have to do it all by myself. I'm not working right now.
So precious. Miss Tillis, I know this has been difficult. I can only imagine. I'm a mother. 2 months in, you are still dealing with postpartum issues.
Here's where the backstory gets spicy. We dive into the roller coaster history between Miss Tillis and Mr. Jellick. They first crossed paths in college, sparking a casual relationship centered around hair braiding that eventually led to them living together. Mr. Jellick describes their dynamic as a situationship, providing room and board while she handled his hair, but insists it was nothing serious. Buckle up, because their past connection is about to stir up a storm.
Basically, we had a conversation, and like I told her, I refused to take up the next man's slack for a child that's not mine. We wasn't even having relations when she got pregnant.
What was the nature of your relationship?
We were having sex because we got history.
What's the history?
When I moved to Oklahoma City from my home state, I was going to college for my associates in business where I met Miss Tillis.
Things are getting heated now. As the court delves deeper, conflicts in their relationship start to surface. Miss Tillis accuses Mr. Jellick of being overly jealous and controlling, an accusation he counters by bringing up her ongoing contacts with an ex. This This back and forth casts doubts on their relationship's exclusivity during Jadence's conception period. Wait till you see how this tangled web unravels further.
I pay all bills, I pay all rent. You do my hair, so you can't trip on what company comes through my front door.
No, Your Honor.
That's the situation.
This is a first. This is a first. Jerome, I've never heard of this.
Me either.
In-house braider.
Brand new.
With benefits. Something to me is not adding up. So you move in. Do you think this is your boyfriend when you move in?
He made me feel like I was his woman.
You won't believe this twist. Attention shifts to the murky timeline of Jadence's conception. Miss Tillis lays out a timeline that suggests some overlapping romantic entanglements with Mr. Jellick and another man, leading to a heated debate about the reliability of the birth control used during these encounters. This doubt about paternity sets the stage for a deep dive into genetic markers.
Can I show you my pregnancy timeline?
Oh, you brought some evidence. Yes, please step up. I want to get this story.
This is the conception date that the sonogram lady gave me. Me and Mr. Jellick messed around in October.
More like early September.
No,
this around the time she got
it
a
was
car.
in the middle. It was in the middle of October.
Work with
the
home
end
health.
of October, I messed with the other man.
Wait, say that again.
The middle of October, I messed with him without protection.
Do you agree with that, Mr.
The end of
Jellick?
October,
No.
it was the other man.
Now, here's a genetic curveball for you. Mr. Jellick introduces a unique physical trait argument, noting that a specific feature, preauricular sinus, prevalent in his family, is conspicuously absent in Jaden's. He argues that this lack of familial trait indicates he's likely not the dad. But hold your horses. An expert's about to throw a wrench into this theory.
I went to the hospital when he was like 3 days old. She called me, and I went out there and I looked at him and I picked him up, looked at him.
Yeah, he was looking at my baby like, examining my baby in the light.
But the first thing I'm looking for is our trait. I don't see it.
He
Not
examining
shaped,
a pineapple or something at the grocery store,
Exactly.
looking at it in the light and turning it upside down. Is that how you did the baby, Mr. Jellick?
It wasn't that physical, but I mean, I gave him a good look over.
Just when you think it couldn't get more tangled, enter Dr. Samantha Brown Parks, who sheds light on the genetic inheritance of the preauricular sinus. She explains that while it is a dominant trait, each child has only a 50% chance of inheriting it, meaning Mr. Jellick's argument might not hold as much water as he thought. The stakes are high, and the courtroom is buzzing with anticipation as we edge closer to the big reveal.
We are dealing with paternity question Mr. Jellick has concerning a physical condition he commonly called a wisdom hole, which he has presented evidence to this court. I've now learned it's called preauricular sinus.
Yes.
I know it's rare. Can you shed light on this and as to whether or not this is truly relevant in this paternity question?
So a preauricular sinus is a small hole or opening that's a birth defect. It happens in less than 1% of the population and traditionally is inherited.
Brace yourself for the grand finale. The courtroom is on edge as the DNA test results are finally unveiled.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Jellick, you are the father.
You won't believe what's up next. The tension in the room escalates quickly. Miss Nadeau opens up about her dilemma, revealing she slept with 2 lifelong best friends and is unsure which one is the father of her 2-year-old son, Cameron. This confession sets the stage for the emotional and complex revelations that follow. The uncertainty has significant emotional implications for all involved, especially since the men are close friends. Strap in, because this roller coaster is just starting to climb. Mr. Santilli expresses his heartbreak, which began 2 years ago when Miss Nadeau disclosed her affair with his best friend on Christmas Eve. He is devastated by the possibility that his son might actually be his best friend's child. The audience reacts with murmurs, highlighting the shocking and painful nature of the revelation. Just wait, the tea is about to spill even more. Turn. Miss Nadeau and Mr. Zara acknowledge their relationship began the day Mr. Santilli's grandfather passed away. They went out for drinks after the funeral, which led to them sleeping together. This admission clarifies the timeline and deepens the emotional entanglement as it happened amid significant personal loss. And yes, there's more drama ahead. Keep your eyes peeled. Get ready for a deep dive into the feels. This moment is heart-wrenching. As the discussion unfolds, it becomes clear that there is a profound emotional conflict and a tangled web of relationships and responsibilities. Mr. Santilli discusses the emotional toll of potentially not being Cameron's father, expressing how deeply he's connected to the child. The personal stakes are high, and the emotional distress is palpable, illustrating the deep impact of the paternity uncertainty. The emotional climax is just around the corner, so don't go anywhere.
Happy day.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for. The climactic moment arrives as Judge Lake reads the DNA test results.
It has been determined by this court that Cameron's biological father is Mr.